And if we don't learn from history, shame on us. At the beginning, when we were targeting Osama bin Laden and indicted him here in New York in 1998, June of 1998, before the East Africa Embassy bombings, everybody was saying, well, who the heck Al-Qaeda and bin Laden? Those guys are in the Middle East, they are fighting in Afghanistan and so forth. But the moment that they were able to set a training facility, command and control, then they're going to start focusing on us.
Well, a fresh warning from former FBI Special Agent Ali Soufan, our guest yesterday, and we were discussing a report with Ali about a more emboldened group of al-Qaeda in Iraq using Syria as a training ground and what we should be watching for. What is next? If it's Syria today, when does it come home to us here in the United States? Now, daily we hear about different terror groups taking advantage of chaos in the Middle East and Africa. Beyond the names and the geography, what do we need to know about today's generation of terrorists? Wally Faris is a Fox News Channel Middle East and terrorism analyst, author of The Coming Revolution, The Struggle for Freedom in the Middle East. And Waleed, you've talked about this for years.
Yeah.
Who are these new terrorists, and how are they different from the ones that we faced, let's say, in 2001?
Well, generally, this is a question of generations, as Mr. Soufan has said yesterday to you on TV. What we are seeing right now is a second, maybe third generation. Those who were 10 years old on 9/11 or very young during the 90s are now basically those who are in their 20s and 30s and involved in various actions. And it's not just around the world. It could also be in the United States. What is linking all of these people is in ideology. They're all, united with one ideology. What makes a difference between one or the other is the organization. Are they affiliated with Al-Qaeda, an offshoot of Al-Qaeda, or they think themselves that they can perform the action on behalf of Al-Qaeda, like some of the lone wolves in the West, in Europe and here. So at the highest level, you have an ideology. At the lowest level, you have an organization.
Let's talk about the ideology for a moment here. The ideology, as it has grown up through these generations, has it gotten more Western, more extreme? I mean, what direction has it gone?
See, the ideology by itself, the goals, meaning what is it that they want to achieve, let's call it a caliphate, how many provinces, what to implement within this caliphate, has not changed. Take the Muslim Brotherhood, for example, who are not really terrorists by our measurement, but are militant. Since the 1920s, they teach the same thing. The Wahhabis, the Salafis, all these doctrines teach the same thing. What has changed basically is how to deliver this ideology to the younger generations. While in the past, around the mosque or around teaching centers, now it's the internet. Now
it's Facebook.
And actually we
have an example of that, Waleed. I mean, this is just one example from one website. This is one little boy, and according to the website, he was speaking about martyrdom and joining the Palestinians in their fight. And the website pointed to him as, here's this little boy who's preaching these things and saying this is we're not making the link. We don't know anything about that little boy. But this was one of the examples put forward as we were looking at this next generation and how do we combat the ideology. And Waleed, what do we do?
Well, look, first of all, we need to define exactly where the threat is coming from. It is not just coming from bin Laden, Zawahiri, and Al-Qaeda. These are the tip of the iceberg, or the multiple icebergs. There is an indoctrination system, which is actually very complex. You have it, for example, in Pakistan and Afghanistan as madrasas, those militant schools. But you have also courses and classes taught in normal schools in the region. And third, of course, as you just shown, now you have the video internet, and that is very, very efficient. People on Facebook, on YouTube, are becoming jihadists at a younger age.
And one of the reasons we wanted to talk about this is, again, we see this isolation when we're talking about the Middle East and the intricacies of all these different groups that are sometimes connected or not, and the terrorism that they're waging in their communities. We have to ask the question about when does that come to us? When do we see the attacks? We've certainly seen them on our own embassies. But when does it come here, Waleed? And what do you think?
Look, the measurement is very simple. The more you see the ideology widespread in an area, in a zone, let's take, for example, Libya. I have been warning about the rise of these Salafi jihadi militias from day one. From the day they were marching against Gaddafi, we were able to project that one day after Gaddafi is down, they're going to attack our sites. Actually, the cables from the Libya consulate to the United States in the State Department said there are many training centers. We don't know if their intention is against us. Well, that's where we need to educate ourselves. If you see the ideology, if you see the symbols, it means that they are growing and they are coming against our interests.
Waleed, thank you very much. A story we're certainly going to continue to watch.